30-day trial before I take back my time and make you pay. 30-day trial.
Artists don't just release songs, they build worlds we live inside. This space is for thoughtful, feminine, deeply human conversations about fashion, music, image, and influence. Hi, welcome to The Girly Critic, where we explore the aesthetics, identities, emotional worlds, and intelligence dressed in fashion by the women who shape pop culture itself. In this series, we talk about iconic fashion moments and the brand and aesthetics that didn't just look good, but told us exactly who an artist was becoming. The fashion, the difference between wearing clothes and inhabiting them, the energy and emotion, and why certain women don't just trend, they imprint. Because the most iconic artists don't just follow trends, they create worlds you can recognize in a single moment and know it's them, and presence as power as we step inside and learn from every look, every movement, and every moment. These videos are about appreciation, consistency, and understanding why some styles feel timeless while others fade. Today, we're stepping into the world of Nicki Minaj and why her fashion and aesthetic weren't just iconic, but deeply intentional and storytelling. Let's unpack this video. Nicki Minaj's fashion doesn't just ask to be seen, it asks to be understood, and sometimes it refuses to make that easy. Beneath all the wigs, the color explosions, the hyper-curated chaos, there is something deeply emotional happening in her fashion. It doesn't feel like decoration. It feels like self-protection that learned how to look beautiful. And maybe that's why it sticks in your mind even years later. You don't just remember the outfit, you remember the feeling of it. Nicki's early fashion identity feels like emotional overload translated into clothing. Sorry for that. Neon wigs, exaggerated silhouettes, doll-like styling, and visual chaos that never fully settles into one personality. But here's what people sometimes miss. That wasn't randomness. That was survival through expansion. When you don't feel allowed to be one thing, you become everything at once so no one can box you in. So her fashion becomes loud because silence feels unsafe, colorful because neutrality feels invisible, exaggerated because subtlety gets ignored. It's not just aesthetic, it's emotional strategy. There's something almost tender about it when you look back, like watching someone build themselves in real time. And every wig, that's not just style, that's a version of her trying to exist. Then something shifts. Nicki enters high fashion spaces where suddenly she is no longer just expressive, she is observed. And observation changes everything. Her fashion starts tightening. Designers like Versace, Mugler, Moschino, and Balmain begin shaping her red carpet identity. The silhouettes become more sculpted and the chaos becomes more intentional. But emotionally, you can still feel the tension underneath. It's like she's learning how to be powerful without being dismissed as too much, but also refusing to erase the part of her that is too much. So her fashion becomes a negotiation between who she is expected to be, and who she refuses to lose. Even when she's in couture gowns, there's still a pulse of rebellion in styling. A slit that feels like defiance, a color that refuses silence, and a silhouette that still remembers how to disrupt a room. Nicki never fully conforms, she adapts without disappearing. In her later fashion eras, Nicki becomes something else entirely. Not chaotic, not experimental, but armored. Babycon gowns, monochrome luxury, metallic finishes, crystal detailing, everything becomes a sharper, more deliberate, more controlled version of herself. But emotionally, this is where things get interesting, because this is not simplification, this is refined protection. She is no longer dressing to prove she exists. She is dressing like her existence is non-negotiable. There's a quiet emotional shift here. Early Nicki says, "See me." Later Nicki says, "You already did." And that changes the entire energy of her fashion presence. She becomes less about proving and more about being, but never soft, make no mistake about that, and never invisible. Always present in a way that still feels like pressure in the room. Nicki's fashion has its own emotional coding system. Wigs equals identity layering, emotional switching, and survival roles. Color equals psychological expression, not decoration. Exaggerated silhouette equals presence, defense, system. High fashion structure equals control over perception. What makes it powerful is that it is not random styling. It is visual psychology. She is literally communicating emotional states through aesthetic choices, even when no one is consciously decoding them. And that's why her fashion feels unforgettable. It carries feelings under the surface. Nicki Minaj's fashion legacy is not just about being iconic, it's about what happens when someone refuses to shrink themselves in a world that constantly asks them to. Her style is loud, yes, but more importantly, it is layered. It holds identity, pressure, ambition, survival, humor, and defiance all at once. And maybe that's why it still feels so alive today, because it was never just about looking different, it was about refusing to disappear. Thanks so much for spending time with me. If this video resonated with you, I'd love to know what era, look, or aesthetic from Nicki Minaj made you fall in love with her in the first place. Pop culture is reflective art, and that's what makes it beautiful. Iconic style isn't about excess, it's about clarity. There's always meaning behind the mirror. If you enjoy thoughtful, girly deep dives into pop girls and the worlds they create, you're always welcome here. Well, that's all, folks. Have a happy rest of your day. Bye!